Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Breaking Shan. I'm your host, Zishan Bakhtiar, and I'm so excited to finally kick things off. This podcast is all real conversations, whether it's about everyday life, unique experiences, or unexpected stories, we're here to explore it all. To start things off, we're starting with our educators, who are stepping into retirement. In this first episode, I am joined by Mr. Smith, a teacher who's made a lasting impact in the classroom. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for joining me today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, Zishan.
How are you feeling?
I feel good every day, my man.
All right, that's good. So we'll ask you a few questions about your retirement,
Okay.
and of what's your next plans, and a few fun questions of what you did in your classroom, how your journey was.
Okay.
So can you introduce yourself and share just a bit about your teaching background and how long you've been in education?
Yeah, my name's Sean Smith. People call me Sean, and I've been teaching about 20 years. For my first 11 and a half years, I was teaching at the alternative school in Atlantic City that they eventually shut down. And that was for kids who were getting kicked out of this building or who were coming out of like detention facilities.
So 20 years this is your 20th year,
Yes, sir.
and you're retiring in June once the school year is over.
Yes.
Okay. What made you want to become a teacher?
When I had my first son, I wanted to finish my college degree. I wound up dropping out and just working. So I just wanted that degree up on the wall, just to be an example for him. Once I got that, I always thought I would like teaching and be a good teacher. So I said, you know what? Now that I have the degree, let me go for it,
And what inspired you to keep this teaching over the years?
I just loved it. I loved it. Really, you guys did, the students did. I loved every minute of it, and I loved all my students.
That's good, that's good. What's one thing that students taught you of all these 20 years? Because many teachers say, oh, I didn't know this, and now I know. So is there something specific that a student may have taught you?
I'm always listening. I'm always listening. Even when they think I'm not listening, I'm listening. And a lot of the language and the slang and the phrases, I always paid attention to that. So every now and then I'd shoot back a specific word or a slang word, and they're always shocked, like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
So a lot of the language they're using today.
Do you think other teachers should use or learn stuff from students as well, like specific things?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of being a successful teacher is being connected with your students and building relationships with your students. So, you want to listen to how they're talking and what they're saying so you can kind of relate.
How do you feel as you prepare to retire?
Yeah. At one point I had second thoughts, and I actually talked to Principal Harris about rescinding my retirement and staying, because it's tough, because I love this job and I love the kids. But other things are happening in my life, and I feel like I'm kind of getting pulled and it's time to go.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes because you spent like 20 years in one field, and especially if you spend all those 20 years at one school, you know almost everybody, you see different faces, different teachers, and it's different friends, you make friends.
Yeah.
How's your relationship with other colleagues?
Yeah, I met some good people here. A lot of guys in my hallway. We become friendly. And, yeah, it's going to be tough, but I like to say I did a lot of things before teaching, and I want to do a lot of things after teaching,
Do you have any specific plans after retirement?
I'm starting to put some stuff together now, so we'll see what happens.
What will you miss the most about being part of this school community?
Like I said before, I'm going to miss the kids. I'm going to miss their families. I was someone who was always reaching out at home and talking to mom and dad and letting them know, good and bad, what their kids were doing. So I totally enjoyed the Atlantic City community. So I'm going to miss all that.
And what grade level do you teach?
Mainly freshmen.
Mainly freshmen. So how is it with them? Because students come from middle schools onto high school, and they're transitioning, and it's different for them. But you as a teacher, how do you think the freshman feels with you? And
I love the freshman experience. Yeah, I think, not to take a shot, they're new, they're a little immature and everything, but I feel like part of my job was not only to teach them world history, but, prepare them to be better students, what's right and what's wrong, and how to carry yourself in the high school, So
did you want to teach any other grade level?
Well, I think most people would say they might like to teach the older students because they're a little more mature and there's less stuff going on. But no, I've totally embraced teaching the freshman level, and I loved it.
That's great. So let's ask you some fun questions.
All right, all right.
If your classroom had a theme song, what would it be?
Yeah, my musical tastes are always changing, but I think I would stick with a song called "War Pigs" by Black Sabbath.
Oh wow.
So if you get a chance, check that out.
Of course, of course. And why that one? Is there something specific like?
I like the introduction to it. Kind of
Yeah?
has a long introduction and it's a dramatic introduction. Like I said, I highly recommend it. So check it out.
Okay, okay. If you had a chance to teach a fictional or like a made-up subject, what would it be?
I would teach the history of history. It would be history before the Big Bang, which would be nothing. So it would be a class about nothing.
That would be very funny
That would
because
be a
you know
good class.
students they don't want to do anything.
So they don't want to do anything. So it should be easy for everybody.
Yeah. If you could swap your job with someone else in the school for one day, what would it be?
Mr. Manzo is right across the hall from me.
Okay.
So as I'm walking around teaching, doing my thing, I look out the window and I always see him laid back with his feet kicked up while I'm walking around working a class. So I don't know how he does that. So I think I'd like to be him for one day just so I could kick back with my feet on my desk.
Yeah. Yeah, because every teacher also wakes up in the morning, just like every student's early in the morning. And teachers have to usually wake up more early because some of them live far.
Far away.
How long is your drive from school to home?
Mine's been a pleasurable 55 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a long, so I, as a student, wake up around 6 o'clock. And you might be waking up maybe earlier than that.
I was waking up at 6.
Yeah.
And I make sure I get on the road by 6.
Yeah, that's tough because do you usually bring your breakfast to school or do you do it at home?
I usually eat like a protein bar or something on the way.
Okay.
Some coffee.
If your teaching journey were made into a movie, what would the title be?
I think it would be "It's a Wonderful Life." It's like
Wonderful Life.
It's a wonderful life. Every day was a blessing. I never had a bad day teaching. Never. I enjoyed every minute of it.
What about the stress of grading students' assignments and, you know, how does that impact?
I don't know that that's stressful. I would say the most stressful part of teaching is controlling your class, getting everybody in line. And, but I felt like I had that down pretty well.
How long does it take for your students to listen to you and, you know, like not be chit-chatting a lot with each other?
I start with day one.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's the most important day one.
Yeah, they got to know you.
And students will never be more compliant than day one. So you got to lay down the law day one, and it'll be good. You have a good year.
That's a good thought. If your classroom could have its own mascot or animal sidekick, what would it be?
I don't know. I think it would be a guy named Vic Rattlehead. He is the mascot for this band called Megadeth. So I think I'd have him walking around. Check him
And
out.
what would he like mostly represent?
His whole thing is hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil.
Oh, really?
He's kind of like an anti-hero kind of guy. So check him out.
Yeah, that'll be fun. All right. What's your go-to snack or drink to get you through a busy school day?
Coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee, no doubt.
What kind? Like
Just black coffee.
black coffee?
No cream, no sugar.
No cream, no sugar.
Just right out of the pot.
And what size do you usually prefer?
20 ounce, several times a day.
Wow. So that's not just your in the morning thing, but throughout the day.
Throughout the day.
That's good. That's good.
I have a little Keurig machine.
So you make your own coffee.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. If you could have one superpower to use only at the school, what would it be, and how would you use it?
Superpower. I don't know. That caught me off guard a little bit. I don't know if I need a superpower. I think I've done all right just the way I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a superpower right there.
Yeah. If anything, maybe I'll be have a little mind control or something. So,
Mind control.
yeah, make sure people are focused and get them on task, totally focused.
Yeah.
But that'd be a good one.
That'll be, that's how you would be able to even control your students even more because now they know, oh,
Yeah.
we
No
shouldn't be,
phone.
fooling around.
Yeah, exactly.
If you had unlimited time and budget, how would you decorate your dream classroom?
Um,
Because right now, as I see in your classroom, you have your desk in the corner, nice little setup.
yeah.
It's everything organized, but less
I'd probably go bigger screen.
bigger screen.
Um, I don't know. Maybe that'd probably be the main thing. Bigger screen. Just I've always had like knickknacks and posters and authentic stuff around the room. So
That's good because there are some people that want to be like, oh, I want to redesign my classroom, but they can't do it everything because it's
yeah,
school property. It's not your home
yeah,
or
yeah.
your room.
You know, you do so much.
What classroom item or tool you could never live without?
I'm big on technology. Prior to the smart board, I was big on the projector. So it would be the projector or now the smart board.
Yeah, because you need to demonstrate
Yeah,
online stuff, videos, and
exactly. I think a lot
it's
of
about history.
it's
So
about history.
you gotta show the history videos. You need
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Can you recall a moment with a student that truly either made you proud or that touched your heart? Because there are some teachers that have one moment with a student that they feel so connected. Does anything like that happen to you yet? I mean, it is
Yeah.
freshman, so you can't really expect a lot
Well,
because
but I do expect a lot from the
really,
freshmen. Yeah, and a lot of what I look for may not be grade wise, but maybe how you're carrying yourself in
yeah,
what way, And whenever you see kids take steps into a little mature attitudes and stuff like that's always a good thing to see.
that's good. That's good. If you could invite any public figure or celebrity to speak to your students, who would it be and why?
I don't know who I'd bring in public.
A celebrity that you think you can,
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd bring in Ozzy Osbourne, and let
Yeah.
him talk to the kids if they can understand what he says. He has a pretty harsh accent, but
Yeah,
yeah, he's my man.
that's good. What's one part of your job that students probably never notice, but it means a lot to you?
The prep and the work I do in the summertime to prepare my lessons. I have my own website to make my own website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, I put a lot of time in the summertime. Usually, when school's done, first couple of weeks, I chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
Then I start to get the itch and I start to get a little bored and start working on my
Yeah,
lessons.
students think like teachers, they're just, they have stuff ready and all teachers are connected, same work, but they don't realize the behind the scene work that goes into it.
I've put a lot of time and effort over the years to make sure that I had good lessons.
And that's why you're so happy to retire because you've done great things in the past and, now you have a better future coming ahead.
Yeah.
Looking back, is there one school year that stood out the most fun to you or challenging?
I just think for anyone, for any teacher, your first year of teaching is probably the most challenging and probably the most memorable because
Most first year teachers, they don't have their own classroom. Did you have your own classroom?
I did. I was at the alternative at my first year, the alternative school. I did have my own classroom. It was a little bit of a culture shock, stepping into the teacher realm with all these students around,
Did that change? The classroom change, or did it stay the same for many years of how many years you worked there?
Oh, it changed. It changed 3 times.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
And did you like it every time it changed? Or
Yeah. Yeah. I like change. Change is good.
what is one school-related moment that thinks that still maybe makes you laugh?
You know what?
Because we had many events here, and
You're right.
there is a lot of fun things, but sometimes there's one thing that catches you, and it's very catchy, and it's like the
Believe it or not, a lot of people ask me that, and when people ask me that spur of the moment, I can't think anything. But sometimes with my drive home, or maybe I see something on TV, or I hear a song or something, it sparks a memory, and then I start laughing about that moment. There were so many of them. Just to shoot, like, what's your one? I had so many. I don't know. Right now, nothing specifically sticks out.
yeah. What is one thing you cannot live without, like that you need in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day job, or whatever?
Music, definitely.
Music?
Yeah. That's part of what made my 55-minute ride, enjoyable. I always had something playing. I've always had 55 minutes to listen to, almost a full.
What's your favorite song?
It all depends what day it is. Sometimes I might be into this band and that's my favorite song. And then now I'm into this band and that's my favorite song.
What advice would you give students and the new teachers entering the profession that wants to continue this journey in this career?
New teachers?
Yeah.
I would say make sure you know some old school teaching 101 classroom management techniques. Sprinkle some SEL techniques in with that, and work hard on your lessons, because if your lesson is boring to you, it's even more boring to the students.
That's right.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How about the students that wants to become a teacher? What advice could you give them?
I would say go for it. I would say do what you have to do in college. And right now, we need teachers.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
I would just say always have an open attitude. Don't take anything personally with the students. Focus on your lessons and focus on classroom management techniques.
That's great advice right there for the new teachers. Well, thank you, Mr. Smith. This brings us to the end. And that wraps up our conversation with Mr. Smith. Thank you so much, Mr. Smith, for sharing your stories.
Pleasure to be here.
And your time with us. Your dedication, humor, and heart clearly made a lasting impact. I really appreciate you coming here.
No problem.
Thank you. This is my first podcast, so it's a first time for
Congrats.
me. Thank you. But that'll be it, everyone, for this podcast. We'll be meeting 2 other teachers in the next coming episodes that are named Mr. Manzo, as previously Mr. Smith mentioned. Seems like they're really close, so they're retiring together. And Mr. Tinkler. So we'll be back in another episode. Until then, stay curious, stay kind, and thanks for listening. Have a great day.